Let's talk about where we end up going when you have this hyperpartisanship. We have Larry Sabato. Red alert. 52% of Trump voters somewhat or strongly favor blue states seceding to form a separate country. 41% of Biden voters want the red states to do the same. Strongly, 25% of Trump voters strongly feel this way, and 80% of Biden voters. He says, look at the report, and that's basically it. More than half of Trump supporters are like, Democrats, go do your own thing. Almost half of Democrats saying the same thing.
I think it's beautiful. And I can be unlike some other libertarians in this regard, in the sense that, like, I don't view libertarianism as like some objectively correct philosophy. I view it as the way that I want to live, right? Like, I think it's bad that communists aren't allowed to be communist. I think they'll be very unhappy. I don't think they're but I'm not trying to take it away from them. I don't think that they're wrong. Right.
I think they'll be very, very happy.
Yeah.
I really do.
I hope they are. I hope they are.
Look at California.
Yeah.
They vote for the same thing over and over, no matter how bad it gets, because they like it. It's good for them. They can have it. I'm out. I'm not going to be there.
So, like, let's let people sort themselves out. Let's let people live according to their values. Like, we'll all be happier. So I think that's a huge white pill. I think we should be optimistic when we hear that.
Well, I certainly think that, people have mentioned the peaceful divorce because it's the alternative to a violent separation. So yeah, definitely. And be it Texas or New Hampshire, I'm all for self-determination. It would be really interesting. We actually had a debate on what would happen with Texas and New Hampshire if they tried to secede. We talked a bit about New Hampshire. We were like, Manchester will get occupied by the feds, the major urban center, so they're not going to let that go. The roads would be shut down. What do you think would happen if New Hampshire said, yo, we out?
I'm actually quite skeptical of the federal government's ability to, like, do something strong here. At least anything strong in the sense of, like, actually sending in troops, actually exerting force. I think if the federal government was against it, you'd much more likely see a response that's like, and I'm not saying that this wouldn't be very impactful, but like attempting to shut down trade, attempting to shut down the borders outside of the state, or attempting to make things hard on people going in and out, rather than actually, I think there is zero chance, regardless of what state secedes, that there would be troops sent in.
Well, what do you think the feds would do?
Maybe not zero, but what do I think they would do? Some of the things I'm talking about, right? Like, I think they would attempt to make it hard for people to get in and out. I think that's, like, plausible.
So in the surrounding states, they'd set up checkpoints or something.
On the roads and stuff like
that.
That
would be like I-95 North.
Yeah. Which we have to leave as federal government property anyway.
Oh, all the freeways are federal. That's
right.
Well,
no. I mean, Maine needs to be able to get to the rest of the U.S. So.
Mm-hmm. And then there's all the federal buildings and federal employees, the post offices.
No, those are ours.
The post office?
Yeah, no, we're going to take those.
Exactly. Someone was like, Ian, why are you so hard on, because I think it's a terrible idea to be like, we out. I am into other ways I'll mention in a minute, but someone was like, why are you so down on it? These people that want to secede don't want to take anything. And I was like, well, they want to take land. They want the federal government's land.
Yeah, we'll distribute it to the population, like what happened in Afghanistan. I mean, so like the people in New Hampshire will be that much richer because we'll get to take all this federal property, distribute it amongst the citizens.
I guess I feel like any kind of seizure of federal property could get violent really fast.
Yeah, maybe we'll pay them. Look, I'm going to be like, I think the play is concentrate people, leverage nullification, and then if the federal government gets aggressive with you, then you push secession. But I'm for seceding now. I'll do it tomorrow.
What I've been thinking about is creating a parallel system that can operate through the United States federal government without it. So like a new economy that works alongside. Go for it. Sorry, buddy.
I want people to see this image right here that I just pulled up. This is a post office in Tilton, New Hampshire. And I just think, when you say, we'll take it, it reminds me of Fort Sumter. The Union troops are there, and you got all these post offices. So I'm just, is it going to be, like the historic Battle of Tilton?
I'm trolling a little bit when I say that we'll take it. I think the goal is to keep it as peaceful as possible. So if we need to buy the property from the federal government, then we can buy it.
The post office. There's a whole bunch. And then there's military bases.
Yeah.
So it would be really interesting to see what would happen. I think if anything did happen, it would probably be this weird pseudo-secession where the federal government would still operate within the borders of New Hampshire completely and totally as they normally do.
I think that's the kind of thing that would lead to conflict, though.
Well, what would happen is, like you mentioned with the Amish, they don't pay Social Security tax or whatever. The people of New Hampshire would basically vote and just be like, we out. The federal government would be like, I guess we're still going to keep using these bases in this land. And The people in New Hampshire are going to be like, don't care, but you can't get taxes from us anymore.
Yeah, I'll take that deal.
Wasn't there was this famous story about a family in New Hampshire that didn't pay taxes? Do you remember that story?
Yeah, I can't remember the name, but they ended up getting in like a standoff with the federal government, and
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So what happens when you have mass non-compliance for how many people? It's like 1.3 million people or something
like
in a place like New Hampshire?
Yeah.
I think you win when you have mass non-compliance. That's what I think happens.
Like you'll have a siege, so it'll seem like you win at first, and then you'll slowly be choked out by like economy and no travel, no flight paths over the thing, if you have pollution that goes over the borders, boy, are you going to pay for that.
I don't think you understand what New Hampshire is like. I think you're imagining New Hampshire is like New York, with massive urban requirements and this like very dense, like it's very difficult to get food. You can't grow food anywhere. New Hampshire, maybe like Manchester, it's harder to do, but most of the state is just like trees, and people are they're gonna homestead. I'd imagine.
Also, you have ports, so like even if they control the roads, it's much harder to, actually, unless they're gonna again, they'd have to start, shooting down boats in international waters that are from other countries and from other places and saying they can't come into the port.
It is American U.S. territory, though, isn't it? Because of Long Island, the water is controlled by the U.S.
I mean, I'm sure. Again, this is all like very difficult to kind of like
very hypothetical, very
to kind of
nebulous.
to kind of larp out. I think that like.
Oh no, you have direct ocean access.
Yeah.
Direct
Oh yeah,
Atlantic
13 miles of coast. So not the largest amount of coast, but enough. And look, I think there's so much. I'm not trying to talk down secession. I just think there's so much more that you can do. You don't have to jump from where we are today all the way to secession. Like the more libertarians control the state government, they can repeal an incredible amount of state laws. They can make it very hard for the federal government to operate. And we already have a roadmap for this. And this is exactly what I was talking about with this sour grapes thing. Like, how many states have nullified federal marijuana laws? Does the federal government send in
immigration laws?
Or I was just going to bring one up. Sanctuary cities, right? All kinds of cities literally nullify. The federal government doesn't send in troops to stop that, and so that's what you do. Like, and this isn't quite as sexy as seceding tomorrow. I understand. So I also want to talk about the sexier topic, but you just go piece by piece, and so rather than going for trying to eat the apple in one bite, which causes a conflict, you take one bite of the apple, and then they don't come out. You take another bite of the apple. And you just keep doing that until you've eaten the whole apple. And when each step is so small that force seems like a disproportionate response, they don't do it. And then all of a sudden you've eaten the entire apple. And so I think that's a much better strategy.
Yeah. Well, so what is there like a 5-year plan? Do you like, or a better question is like, what do you think happens in 5 years?
I think that libertarians continue to concentrate. I think we continue to have more political power. I'll talk briefly about the political power we have currently. We have 40 elected free staters to the state legislature. We have more than 100 libertarians total, and they're graded by a third. This is another one of the institutions in this massive web of institutions that are creating the liberty movement. There's an institution called the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance, great institution to support, and they grade every bill on whether it's libertarian or not. And then they grade every representative in terms of did they vote the libertarian way. So we have grades going back 15 years on, maybe longer, on every politician and were they a libertarian. So when I say there's 100 libertarians, I'm saying there were 100 libertarians that got an A. They voted libertarian 90% of the time or more on the bills in 2020.
What if I want a tank?
Do it.
I want a tank and I want a 50 cal full auto.
I think if anyone deserves a tank, it's you.
So people don't realize this, but I love it. Tanks are legal. And depending on what kind of weaponry you have on it and where you have it, it's illegal as well. It's funny because you often hear from these Democrat establishment types, the authoritarians, about gun control, and they're like, you can't own a tank, can you? And you're like, yes, you can. You literally can. A story I think it was BuzzFeed that wrote this. A guy had a 50 cal full auto on a tank, and he was shooting into a lake, and some state troopers pulled up and they were like, howdy. And he stopped and he's like, how can I help you? And they're like, this your property? He's like, yes, it is. And they're like, have a nice day. And they left.
I'll plug New Hampshire, highest machine gun ownership per capita.
Wow, really?
Right? Yeah, highest machine gun ownership.
That's like
per
full
capita.
auto machine when you say machine gun?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that video of Luke with 2 full auto, guns was New Hampshire.
Did you see the picture of Luke with his dog and a goat?
Yeah. I hope he has more than one, though. You're not supposed to just have one goat, right?
Yeah, but you just keep doing stuff like this. And as we get more political control, you get more people in office, you repeal more laws, you do more nullification type stuff. There's so many clever ways you can do it where you can just like we're doing this with guns now, where we're basically saying like, hey, federal agents can't operate in the state. They're just not allowed. They'll be breaking state law, and you play these kinds of games. Yeah, exactly.
Like it was a big thing in Ohio where they were like, if any ATF agent tries to enforce us, arrest them.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Something like that.
Right. So you do stuff like this, and I think this is the way that you can win.
What if we bought like 100 acres and then just told people like, have at it?
I would be thrilled to welcome you to the Free State, Tim. I think it's a great idea.
I wouldn't. We're out in West Virginia basically, so
For now.
we actually are just finalizing a deal on a big plot of land. Freedom City, or Fordamistan, we jokingly call it. And we're going to have like a recreational facility, and we're going to be producing a lot of content, doing more shows. We have a new show that's actually already live. I guess we can announce the name now because it's already up, isn't it? We'll save it for tomorrow.
Yeah,
we'll
we should save
it.
it.
It is up, but we're going to, so we soft launched it and then we can officially announce it. So we're doing a bunch of shows, and these are like fully produced podcasts, editing, sound effects and stuff like that. So we want to do this mini little Freedom City in West Virginia. But what if we just bought, 100 acres in central New Hampshire, if there was a group of people who are willing to go there and just start using it?
So I think if you're interested in that in the chat, if you could just sound off and say, yeah, I want to move to New Hampshire.
Well, thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.